I've been rejected explicitly because of an ACS connection. This was heard third hand now, but it was something about something arrogant ACS, something like that. I'm Minwei. I went to ACS primary school and then I went to ACS Barker for secondary school, all boys school. I look at my fellow classmates at the time with fairly warm sense of affection, even though it's been a very long time.
Hi, I'm Seri. Well, I was previously from co-ed schools, namely Sin Primary School and Hougang Primary School, your average neighbourhood schools. Definitely not high achievers, of course, definitely not below average performers as well.
Participants will be given statements that they can agree or disagree on. If they have different views on the statements, they will have to put the corresponding ingredient into the kopi. At the end, they will exchange cards and Lim Kopi.
Girls and boys study better when separated from the opposite gender.
I feel like I disagree with this statement because in co-ed schools, you would have the opportunity to learn equally. It's not a tailored education system. Everyone learns the same things, same values.
The guys in my school didn't need any extra help to be distracted from studying. They could distract themselves fine. There was no need for another gender to help them be distracted from school. They get up to all sorts of antics. They gamble in the back. I shouldn't say this out loud. One year we invented a squash table tennis hybrid to play at the back of the class.
In my class per se, I wouldn't say they were really that distracting, but yes, they can be, depending on how studious or how disciplined the female students are as well. So I don't think they really play a big part in distracting other students, if they are.
People from a single-sex school grow up emotionally stunted.
I'm more neutral on that, I guess.
I kind of disagree with that because I have friends of my own who are from single-sex schools. They actually don't appear emotionally stunted at all.
No, there was this whole thing about ACS primary moving to Tengah, and there was this whole bunch of guys who were just like, no, we can't move to school. I do associate this mindlessly holding on to tradition being somewhat childish. In the Singaporean context, I think it's more neutral. Because in Singapore, like the people who go to single gender schools go out, they don't live within the bounds of the schools most of the time. It's not boarding schools. When I studied in Britain for a while and I met a bunch of people who went to these single-gendered boarding schools, which are weird. They say things that make you kind of go like, what year is it? What century is it? Very archaic in terms of their opinions on gender relations, which is what you don't usually get in Singapore. Most of these kids go home, they go places where they'll meet other Singaporeans.
Who at schools at an early age also kind of play that significant part in, introducing these norms at an early age so they don't struggle later on. It just comes more easily and naturally to them.
Single-sex schools perpetuate gender stereotypes.
Yeah, I'll be neutral on that.
It will happen as well, like in the same way that single-gender kids kids who go into a single-gender school like will normalize their behavior. There's also a certain element like being in a mixed gender school doesn't make you immune from picking up bad gender beliefs. I can't point to a specific thing. I just feel like there is a certain element. I don't think it's massively more, but it's a little bit more.
I think I'm on a neutral standpoint on this because such stereotypes really can happen in various settings. I don't think that only single-sex schools perpetuate these stereotypes. My school were very big on equality actually. For example, during Comic-Cons, some boy was, randomly just asking the teacher, oh, why do I have to do this? Our teachers at that point of time were very forward thinking to be able to tell this boy that, it's a life skill, it's not a gender thing. You need to know how to cook as a person.
Again, I should disagree more, Lemony.
Ooh. It's okay. I'll just dump it in.
Single-sex schools encourage a class divide.
Am I neutral on this?
Fine, I'll disagree. I personally don't think single-sex schools, they would have the power to impose this class divide. Co-ed schools, those atas co-ed schools perpetuate this class divide, not just, single-sex schools. For example, you go to to a local high-ranking university as opposed to going to a private university, there's also class divide created there. Like for example, how many seats or are in a certain cohort in a certain university, and that also in itself creates a class divide.
I think the way single-sex schools have developed since their foundation has a very strong class element to it. The way to put it is more accurately class divides, and you see it in various other ways. Does the gender aspect help a little bit because it provides a very easy way to segment people. The desire to segment people is not based on gender. I would argue it's actually based on class. But if you can do one by doing the other, then it becomes very simple for you. You don't have to think about it.
I'll squeeze it this time round.
So now you guys will exchange cups.
Oh.
And then
Oh my
good luck.
god. Alrighty, cheers.
That is salty and bitter.
This is mostly
Mostly
sour.